Okay, we're skipping number 3. We're going to go to number 4. Number 4 is an interesting case. What's odd about this formula, in y'all's opinion?
The coefficient that's supposed to be on the outside is inside.
Well, no, the coefficient's on the outside. It's right here.
I mean, the subscript.
Well, there's a subscript here because that's for hydrogen. There's a subscript here because that's for everything in the parentheses.
There's a letter on the outside.
Okay, well, and that's okay. But the odd thing is that I have nitrogen in 2 different spots in the chemical formula. And there is a reason why chemists write it that way, and it's not to be mean and not to be confusing. There is a reason. Now, it's not really something that we're going to get into too much, but just understand that there's a reason why they write the formula the way they do. Everybody okay with that?
I'm not okay with it.
You're not okay with it? Well, that's just the way it's going to have to be. So what we need to do is we need to very carefully deal with the nitrogens, and we're just going to treat them for right now like 2 different things. So that you know which nitrogen I'm talking about, I'm going to kind of trace around that one in yellow, and I'm going to trace around this one in green. And I really don't even want to call them N1 and N2 because I don't want you to think that that's a subscript or a coefficient or anything like that. So we're just going to talk about them, with 2 different colors. Okay. So what is the coefficient in this situation? 2. And that tells you I have what? 2 molecules of this substance. This substance happens to be ammonium nitride. Okay, and there are 2 molecules. We're going to deal with this first nitrogen. I'll write it in kind of the yellow so that you know that that's the nitrogen we're dealing with. What is the subscript on that nitrogen? 1. There's nothing written next to the N, so I understand that the subscript is 1. So there's a 1 on the nitrogen inside the parentheses. What is the subscript outside the parentheses? 3. So I'm going to say 1 times 3, and then there's 2 molecules, so times a coefficient of 2. For a grand total of 6 nitrogens from this area, okay? Then let's do hydrogens. What is the subscript on the hydrogen inside the parentheses? 4. What is the subscript outside of the parentheses?
2.
3 is the subscript. And remember that 3 applies to everything inside the everything inside the parentheses. And then what is the coefficient? 2. What is 4 times 3 times 2?
24.
That's 24.
Good.
Okay, but I'm not done. Now I have to deal with this other nitrogen in the formula.
Yes, ma'am. Nitrogen.
Okay. What is the subscript on this nitrogen? What is the subscript on this nitrogen? Your subscripts are always written to the lower right.
1.
There's nothing there, so it's understood that it's 1. Does this 3 apply to the green nitrogen? Does this 3 apply to that nitrogen? No. The 3 applies to the parentheses. So this is just going to be 1 times a coefficient of 2. So that's 2.
That's crazy.
Okay? Now, I have nitrogens from here and nitrogens from here for a total of how many nitrogens?
3.
I have here and here.
8.
8. 8 nitrogens. Everybody got it? Okay. So, nitrogens, I've got 8 because it's 6 plus 2. Hydrogens, I have 24. How many elements in this situation, guys?
3.
How many different elements? How many different things from the periodic table?
2.
Just 2. And that's nitrogen and hydrogen. I'm not going to mention nitrogen twice because it's a repeat. Okay, how many total atoms.
32.
Good, yeah, it's 32. Because it's the 8 nitrogens plus the 24 hydrogens.
Still need a calculator though.
All right, we're doing number 10. All right. What is the coefficient in this situation?
It's 5.
Yeah, coefficient is 5. What does that tell you?
5 coefficient.
There are 5, what? Molecules present.
Thanks. Good job, Tom.
Okay. Let's do gallium first. How many total atoms of gallium?
2.
It's going to be 2 atoms of gallium per molecule, but there are 5 molecules.
So 2 times 5.
So 2 times 5, and that gives you
10.
10. Cr is chromium. Inside the parentheses, the subscript on chromium is 2. Outside the parentheses
Times 3.
is 3, so times 3.
2.
And then times the coefficient of 5, which is
30.
30. Okay? And then finally, let's do oxygen. Inside the parentheses, subscript of 7. Outside the parentheses, subscript of 3. And then there's a coefficient of 5. 7 times 3 is 21, and then 21 times 5,
Is 101.
that is 105.
Oh, see that?
Okay, so guys, if you look, in one molecule of gallium chromate, 7 times 3, there's 21 atoms of oxygen in each molecule. So 21 atoms of oxygen in each molecule, and then there's 5 molecules, so it's 21 times 5. That's how we come up with that. Okay. How many elements are there? How many elements?
Oh, 1, 2, 3.
3. And what are they?
Gallium.
Gallium.
Fluor, and oxygen.
Chromium and oxygen. Somebody's light bulb just went off. Right? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So now, how many
Hope has a light bulb.
total? How many total atoms? How many total atoms?
Oh.
I have 10 atoms of gallium.
100.
I have 30 atoms of chromium. I have 105 of oxygen. So it's a grand total of 145. Has everybody got it? All right. So what you guys are going to do is you are going to work through the counting atoms. There's 40 substances. And then when you're done, you're going to check your own answers. How am I going to assess whether you understand this or not? Well, you're going to take a quiz doing this on Friday. Does that make sense? Okay.